following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin.
Hey everybody, I'm Christine.
I'm Jada.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you for just being so lovely and wonderful, Christine.
I don't know about that, Jada, but I try. I got bad allergies today. My eyes are swollen. And as you can tell, I'm at Denise's again in Agora Hills. I'm cooking tonight. So it's very hot in here and the lighting's bad. And my eyes are swollen from allergies. So here we go.
Woo! Here we go. I was telling you, I wear glasses anyway, but I have to wear them now like almost all the time because my vision is getting so freaking bad. Hello, aging. But I'm still cute, so it's fine.
Hey, as long as we're still cute, that's all that fucking matters.
All that matters.
So what's going down in your world?
Okay, I never I never have a story, but I've got a story.
My God, I love this. Okay, I'm ready for the story.
Well, actually, like some people think I should be afraid, but I'm really not. I'm just like, oh, Mom, have I made it? Like, that's what I thought.
Oh, do you have a stalker?
No, Christine, I got a letter in the mail from La Palma Correctional Facility in Arizona. And this letter was like, hey, Jada, like, first of all, it didn't even have the letter was addressed to my first name and my middle name, which it didn't have my last name, but I use my middle name a lot in social media. And it was just like, oh, I've been watching you. And,
watching you on your social media?
I don't even know. Do they have social media in prison?
Yeah, they have computers in prison. They have social media.
Yeah. So he said that he wanted me to write him, and he's just kind of like intrigued by me. And I looked at I have two older sons that are like bulldogs. They're like, Mom, absolutely not. And I looked at the date of the first letter that was sent, and it was written in March, but then I got another one today.
How the hell did he get your address?
Well, that's a whole long story that I can tell you offline, because the quick version is when I did my LLC for my business before I had my company, like years ago. You purchase a LLC and it's just like it's the LLC, and I used my home address. So that was probably my first mistake. But I got another letter today, and so my son is like, Mom, that's kind of crazy. But part of me is like,
girl, you made it. You got prison fans.
That's
girl
a little scary.
I was going to make a joke and say I wanted one, but I do not.
You do not want prison bae. You do not.
No.
So I don't know. I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, I have to tell Christine, because I never have anything exciting happening in my life. And I've got prison mail.
Jada's going to get conjugal visits.
Absolutely not.
Did he include a picture?
No, but God, I hope whoever this person isn't listening, but it literally looked like it was written by a 5-year-old. But no. And no.
Oh my God.
No.
That is actually good. That is a good fucking story. I love it.
I just hope that everybody's like, you should, report it to the police. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to report someone that's already in prison. Like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, what am I reporting?
Yeah. What are you reporting? That you're getting unsolicited mail?
Yeah.
Just don't answer,
No. So that's all I got.
Wild.
This week. Wild.
Well, I just have one little thing this week. Actually, I have a lot this week.
Yeah.
I have a lot of drama with my oldest daughter, and
Yeah.
it's very appropriate that today is called Parental Alienation because that is what's happening in my life right now. It's so
Yeah.
wild that it's happening at the same time as the podcast. But we'll get into it during the actual episode with Diana. But I made a shout out to my friend Jamie Elston last week,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I just saw that he's here. He just made a comment, "Let's go." And then he said, "Oh crap, I really like a 5-year-old. It wasn't me, I swear." If it was Jamie, you would want conjugal visits. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Anyway,
all right.
Jamie, I wanted to do a quick thing because I want to do something nice for my friends who are so good to me. On June 16th, Jamie is a health and wellness coach. And I don't know if I said that right, but he helps women get in shape from inside out. And he's doing a 14-day only free training online with a whole bunch of women. So I want to invite you, Jada. I want to invite anybody, our Rebel, Diana, anybody who listens. He is doing workouts to tone you up and help you lose 20 pounds, quick and easy meal plans to follow, access to his training app, full accountability and support, live trainings with him, and
Wow.
community routing for community help. And he's got a lot of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of knowledge, and so he is actually going to do this online. And I wanted to invite anybody who wanted to join that I will post his link to do that. But I will get that and I will put it in the show notes, which will show up in a couple of days. Misty, Jamie, I think you're the best. Thank you. And I want to help Jamie. Jamie's from my Tony Robbins group. So
Misty.
Misty said you can look up the information online to find out more about the prisoner. You could also let the prison know you're receiving mail if it bothers you.
Thank you, Misty. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out, us as investigators. Well, let me tell you about today. We're doing parental alienation. And if someone doesn't know what it is, I did not. So I'm going to tell you what it is. It's used in mental health to describe when a child refuses to have a relationship with a parent due to manipulation by the other parent. This manipulation can include spreading false or exaggerated information or intentionally showing unjustified negativity towards the other parent. The child may display fear, disrespect, hostility towards the alienated parent, and may have difficulty providing logical reasons for their behavior. And that is what I am going through. Also, let me tell you about our guest today because she is going to come on and help us with this and talk more about this. Diana Dorrell is a women's empowerment leader, healer, and modern day medicine woman who helps successful women create intimate, loving relationships while maintaining healthy boundaries and spiritual balance. She is the best-selling co-author of The Dating Mirror, Trust Again, Love Again, on Amazon. She can be found on Instagram at Diana Dorrell and on her website, which we will post during the show. Listeners can have a free gift. I love giving free gifts to all the listeners from our guests. She's doing a 5-day mini e-course. It's not on her website. It's called Soulmate, How to Trust and Love Yourself regardless of your relationship status. And she's going to give that free link on the on here today, and we will scroll it for you guys. So let's bring on Diana. She is amazeballs. I think I found Diana on Facebook.
Hello, ladies. So good to be here with everybody.
We seem to be having internet issues. Oh, there she is. Yay! So don't forget, while I'm at Denise's, my internet may run slow. So if you lose me, just keep going and I'll pop in when I can. Hi, Diana.
Hello. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is such a great topic. I was already getting a flurry of like WhatsApp messages from clients who are parents, like, what? Like, where can we join? Where can we listen to this later?
Yeah. Well, anybody who wants to listen to it later, anywhere that you listen to your podcasts, you're just going to look up 50 Shades of Bullshit and you're going to spell out the word 50. And they can find us. It's got a big red, flaming, burning heart. And they can listen to it there. Or they can go on the Facebook link that I gave you and the YouTube link for the show.
Fantastic. And I put
welcome.
the link to the free gift in the private chat, but I wasn't sure
Great.
how to
Oh, don't. Yeah, Rebel, our engineer, will take care of that for you.
Perfect.
There you go. So, Diana, tell us a little about yourself. How do you know so much about parental alienation?
Yeah, so I actually come from a long line of healers and medicine women from Colombia and Venezuela, where we have incredibly large, obnoxious, inappropriate families.
Yay, welcome here, that's for sure.
And I do feel like that is one of my specialties. So specifically, a lot of my clients are parents. They're dealing with dynamics in their relationships with their kids, with their spouses, and looking for that guidance of what can bring them back to center. And so before I did this healing work professionally, I was a teacher and I taught high school English and I taught adults, immigrant adults in California, and also elementary. So I've seen the gamut from, all ages on both sides, and love holding space for parents and also for families to really get to the truth of what's going on. And I never claim to have all the answers, but I'm here to hold space, help you get your answers, and hopefully provide some strategies and tips to support you.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm going to tell a very quick story as quickly as I can. I have never, ever told this on the show before. Very few people know about it unless they are very close to me. 31 years ago, I was married to somebody. Sorry. Talking about it doesn't normally affect me, but now that it affects my relationship with my daughter, it is very hard for me. I was married to somebody who was perfect until we married. Everybody thought he was perfect. I knew something was off, but I didn't know that I was really good at intuition, and I didn't know I was really good at reading people and all these other things that I'm really good at now. Back then, I just was damaged from growing up in abuse. Let's see if I can speed this up. I was married to this person who was very abusive to me. I left him because he was going to wind up killing me. The last time we were together, my daughter came from that. But I love her more than I could ever tell anybody. She is my life. She is my bright star, and she is what saved me. I left him because I was pregnant with her. Now, when I was pregnant with her, he didn't want anybody to know that he was abusing me. So he told everybody that I was having an affair and that my daughter was from somebody else. And he signed off in the divorce for being her father. And to be safe, I had restraining orders. I moved to a completely different state. And I raised my child with a great man who I eventually met and married and had another child with. We did wind up divorcing. He wasn't, we weren't the right people for each other, but that is fine. We raised great kids and it was all fine. The biological man that was my ex-husband has come into my daughter's life and has told her a lot of shit that isn't true. He doesn't claim that he beat me. He doesn't claim that he tried to kill me. He doesn't claim that he abused me emotionally and mentally. He doesn't want to acknowledge this. I technically left him for better dick, which obviously wasn't true. So now my daughter has left my life. She ignores me. She hates me. She said horrible things to me. She has cut me out. She has blocked me. And I've been trying to heal with her, trying to get her to come back and just, go to therapy with me, do whatever we can. Mm-hmm. But I did find out yesterday that she is saying horrific things about me to my friends' children, to my friends. It's bad. I don't know what to do. So I'm really excited that you are here today, Diana, so that I can get my grandkids and my daughter back.
Well, first off, thank you so much for being vulnerable and opening up and sharing that with all of us, because that was really brave. And I know that there's a lot of people that are going to hear this story and resonate with it. So thank you.
I hope so. That's what this whole podcast is for, is to help other people who may be going through the same things. And my daughter, if she hears about this episode or listens, she's going to be mad at me again for talking about her. But she's got to understand that I will do anything to get her back. I will do anything. I don't care. If she wants to have a relationship with him, she can. The lies and the crap has got to stop.
Yeah.
Thank you, Country Corners.
I'm sorry, Christine. I have a quick question. And I know you and I talked last night for I don't even know how long we talked, but I don't think I've ever asked you, how old is she?
She's 30.
Wow.
30. Okay. A grown adult. Now, let me tell you something. I went through a lot of abuse with my mom and my stepfather. And when I found out some things that had to do with my kids, with them, I cut them out. And I was very precise. And I said, look, you can't be in my life as long as you're still with him. And I said, you better run, because I'm about to. Oh, thank you, Jamie. I said, you better run, because I'm coming. You better hope the police get to you first. And I would protect my daughter. Now, when my mother did leave the step monster, I forgave her. I let it go. I wanted her in our lives, because even after all the abuse from her, I wanted her in my children's life, because I knew that relationship for grandparent and grandkids is really important. And I want that for my daughters, and I wanted it for me. So my kids, being like this millennial generation, is incredibly difficult to get them to not judge and to not immediately block people out of their lives. And they don't know how to communicate. Yeah. And they don't know how to keep shit off of social media. That is for sure.
Social media is a whole different conversation. I'm like, I could do a whole hour on that alone. But,
right?
Just a couple of things that I wanted to offer you, Christine. First, your feelings are all valid, right? And different days, different moments are going to feel different. And so often we focus so much on the desired outcome, which in this case is to get your daughter back, right? That we can just skip over some of the less than desirable emotions. But that is the first step. And for anybody else that's struggling with a similar situation, is giving yourself permission, like you just did unexpectedly here, right? Giving yourself permission to feel your feelings and to not necessarily do anything about them. That is such a foundational, powerful step. And also, I feel in my heart as you're talking, the love that you have for your daughter. And the intuitive side, the healer side of me can also feel into the love that she has for you. And, behind all of the pain, right, on both of your sides, the hurt, the confusion, the frustration, is that desire to love. That's why we're all here.
Right.
We're here to love and be love. And anything other than that is a response, right, to our temporary like ego or human condition, whatever you want to call it. So step one is permission to feel without needing to do anything about it. Okay. And then the second thing is like looking at where maybe she or you or anybody, right? Like where we are going into reaction versus response. And oftentimes when an event triggers us, like, you know, you hear about like them talking shit about you, or you see an uncomfortable post about something, right? Like our immediate thing is just to react and to like do something about it and say something right back. But if we can take just 30 seconds even to just close our eyes and say, okay, is there anything that actually I need to do? And most of the time it's like, no, like there's no actual emergencies, very few true emergencies. And if you can give yourself that 10 to 30-second delay, it's amazing, like the level of clarity, the level of space that you have in your mind, in your heart, to then respond if you need to, or to process whatever it was. You know, one of my favorite tools for parents is like the voice memo. So like in the moment when you get triggered, like leave yourself a fucking voice memo, let it rip, unfiltered, say whatever you were going to spew on social or text back to your daughter or whatever in the moment. Journal it out if you like journals, rip up the paper, burn it, like really giving yourself an active practice, an active tangible way to move that out and move through the feelings is so important. But at the heart of the hurt is love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as I'm saying that, like I already feel the energy in our virtual space calm down. Do you guys feel that?
Yeah. I believe that the meditation we did before was lovely. And I did want to say this quickly to your point, Diana, but also to you, Christine. You know, I think sometimes as parents, because Christine, I think we've got kids similar ages. We love to like our core, right? Because we're moms. So that's like we're born to do that. And so sometimes it's extremely frustrating and heartbreaking when you have a child that isn't necessarily doing the things you want them to do or behaving the way that you want them to behave, especially as they become adults. But the one thing I want to say to you, and I know we talked a little bit about this last night, but you are doing everything that you can possibly do. Like, I think it's come to a point to where she's going to have to heal on her own. I mean, you still have, you know, you've got your youngest daughter who's obsessed with you, and you guys are like, you know, two peas in a pod. So I think it's difficult because it's your daughter and your firstborn, but at the same time, and I would love your input on this, Diana. Like, how do you move through this situation with love and not being pissed and not hate and not, you know, like you never want to not like your child, but at the same time, in this instance, what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, is that there comes a saturation point where there's nothing else to do. And then all we can do, right, is be with ourselves. And that can be the hardest thing. It's so much easier, right, to complain about what your daughter's not doing or to respond to like a hate comment on social than to actually just be with your truth, which is, I love my daughter and I'm fucking pissed at her. Like both truths can exist at the same time.
Right.
So as you were talking, like one thing came up, and this is not what I was expecting to talk about, but I trust what's coming. So if you do want something tangible to do, the intent behind this exercise, and anybody can do it, if you're at a point where you're like, I don't fucking know what else to do, I need to like give it to God, or whatever version of that you believe in. Something else needs to step in here because I'm done. You can get You can get 2 Post-its, okay? This is super specific.
I am a Post-it queen, so you're speaking my language.
All right. You're going to put your name and birth date on one Post-it, their name and their birth date on the other. I learned this from one of my mentors. You need some dental floss or string, whatever's handy. You're going to roll them up like little scrolls, maybe tape them so it looks like you're playing a game of telephone. Okay, so it looks like this. And then you're going to get a tea light, candle, doesn't really matter. I say tea light because it's symbolic of, something you're never going to use again after that one exercise. And then you close your eyes and you just say, I am giving this, right? Giving this and surrendering this to something bigger than myself. I cannot handle this anymore. And then you set your intention, right? Like my intention is to reconnect with my daughter, however that happens, to help her know that I love her with all of my being. And please help me, give me the strength to reject all of the negativity that seems to be coming my way around this. Help me be strong enough to know who I am. Okay. And I can script this out to you and send it out later because it's just coming through me right now. And then you're going to drop the string into the center of the candle. What's going to happen is you're going to have 2 pieces, 2 strings with thingies on them. And then here's the rub. You're going to throw away each Post-it in a different place. So maybe you flush one down the toilet, you put one in the recycle bin outside. It's very important that they be in different spots. What this does is it immediately clears all of that toxic, energetic energy, right? And says, from this point, all the shit that just happened, we are getting a clean slate so that energy can move where it's supposed to. And I have had clients do this exercise, and the second it hits the flame, they'll burst into tears, get a call from the kid, get a call from the ex, or the opposite. They feel neutral. They don't give a fuck anymore. And they're like, woohoo, I feel nothing. So that's something super tangible that you can do in those moments where you're just like, I'm spinning. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, that is very similar to a binding spell. And the binding spell is to bind their ability to just imagine binding someone's mouth from talking bad. So it's very similar to a binding spell to keep someone from talking bad about you, which I did last night. So tonight I'll do the one you just said to clear it.
Yeah. And the thing with this one is that's different from binding is it's not even about the other person. It's freeing up the energy that's actually hurting both of you.
Nice.
And so it's if she receives it, she receives it. If she doesn't, that's fine. It's not going to impact her, but this is about mama.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. It's like a cord cutting ceremony as well.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would suggest doing that. And you know what? Right now we do this is a great time. This is a double 6 day. If you look at the number 6, it looks like a pregnant woman holding her belly. This is a time of creation, of rebirth, of transformation. What do you want to see happen in the situation? What's the best that can happen? Even asking yourself, wow, how does it get any better than this? Right. And looking at our point of focus and noticing, am I predominantly thinking about all the negative thoughts that people have been saying about me? Or am I directing it to maybe neutrality and just choosing to not give into that? And then on the other side, right? What's the amazingness that can come out of this? What if she comes back and our relationship is stronger than ever? And we write a book about our experience. You can kind of go into that imaginative space, but we are powerful beings.
So you had a lot of experience working with people who have gone through this type of thing?
Working with parents. Yeah. So a lot of my clients, most of them are women. I do work with some men, but parents who are incredibly intuitive, incredibly loving. And I don't know how it works out, but a lot of times, right, the issues that they're dealing with are with children who are entitled, or they feel like they cannot communicate clearly, or they're over communicating and the kid isn't getting it. And so it's I think to speak to your point about like the generation differences with social media, it does. It's so much easier, right? To just say how you feel, cancel culture, and one comment just like negates you from that person's life, when it would be a lot harder to pick up the phone and actually iron it out and maybe come to a compromise or a resolution. So it takes bravery and it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Diana. Like I'm totally obsessed with your work. First of all, your energy. This is the first time I've met you, and Christine knows I'm such an energy person. The fact that we did a whole meditation before we even got on here.
Yeah.
Completely obsessed with you already. But I'm curious to know more about your work and how you got into it, and like what does it entail? Like, do you help kids? Do you help parents? Do you help, like, do you help couples? Like, I want to know more about
Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm so glad the meditation was helpful. Like I just, it was like, we just need to do this. So, so I work with primarily women, and, I used to say I work with mostly single women, but that's not the case. It really, at this point, it's any relationship status, but what's at the heart of my work is reminding them that they can have the life that they desire, no matter what has happened in the past, and that they are loved and that they matter. So I am a space holder. I'm an energy alchemist. Sometimes they come to me specifically to manifest a relationship, to get married. Other times they're starting a business and they're leaving a full-time job and they're terrified. And I'm not a business coach, but I can change your energy so that you take the steps to whatever your dream is. And it's so funny that we have this particular topic, because at the core of my work is the inner child, which, regardless if it's a parent or an actual child, we all have that little girl or that little boy inside of us that sometimes will run the show when we feel unsafe, scared, unseen, unappreciated, right? Unloved. And so my job, as I see it on this planet, is to help you remember that you matter and that you're loved.
I love that. So you had said a little bit earlier that you had some key things to help people. What are some of those? So, because even Mickey, one of our listeners, is here all the time. They said, my ex's family did the same thing to my older son, but now he is grown and I'm hoping to repair our relationship. So what are some things that people can actively start doing to help them with this type of situation?
Yeah. So the first is kind of what we talked about before, is the permission piece. Where are you still kind of fighting your own feelings? And where are you not allowing for the whole range of your emotions? And that's where that ceremony, ritual, whatever you want to call it, comes into play. So it's like, let's clean the slate. That's step one. And then step two is getting clarity on what it is that you want to see. What is the exact outcome? In this case, if it's repair our relationship, what does that mean, right? Like, get more specific. Do you want to talk more? Do you want to see them more? Right? And getting clear on that, because the more specific you can be, the easier it's going to manifest. Okay. And then also recognizing that it's not always, and this is so hard, like, it's not always on our time, right? Like,
true.
It's not. We want things yesterday, but that son or that daughter is going through their own process. And the best thing any parent can do in this situation is to love themselves. And it sounds so simplistic, but really actually taking pressure off them needing to come back and feeding yourself, going back to the body. Are you taking care of your physical body? Are you sleeping, right? Like, are you exercising? Are you engaging in activities that bring you joy? Or are you obsessing and spinning out and like going into that overdrive mode, right? And the more that we can kind of be in emotional neutrality, that is a powerful fucking place for anybody to be attracted to you, whether it's a son, daughter, right? Like, lover, because you trust that they are where they need to be their best self. And you're going to let them know how much you love them when they walk through that door. And that's actually the last phase of it, is certainty. Can you be certain in your bones of that love? Can you remind yourself it is already done, even though I can't see evidence of it in this moment, that my child knows that I love them. And I trust that they will come to me. And when they do, I'm going to welcome them with open arms, and we're going to connect. But not a second before I meant to. And so in the meantime, while I'm waiting, while I'm in this spiritual waiting room, I'm going to take the best fucking care of myself I can, so that I am a safe place for them when they come back, because I know they are.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that. When we talk about manifesting on the show all the time, and we do talk about how important it is to stay grounded in your knowledge and belief that it's already here. And I know that. That's why I try every day to. I don't try. I do exercises every day to be in that space. But when you start, really hearing and seeing things, it can knock you off. And how do you suggest that people try to realign themselves?
Yeah. So one thing that I always like to suggest is, have you guys heard of EFT? Emotional freedom technique?
Yes.
So you can Google to your heart's content, YouTube to your heart's content, but the simple version, which I like simple and straightforward, is take your index finger and your middle finger, and there's different points along the body that connect to our subconscious and our nervous system. So one of the major points,
tapping
at the sternum. Yeah.
Tapping. Yeah.
Tapping.
So the phrase, for anybody that's new to this, there's two parts to it, right? The first part is you just share exactly how you feel. I'm really missing my son. He's grown and I really want to repair our relationship, but I have no idea how. I'm really scared, right? And get to a point where you feel kind of like you're done. And then the last and most important step is, even though I feel all this, even though I have no idea when he's ever going to come back, and I really want to believe that he is, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. That little phrase is probably the most important. Deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I love that.
So that's something you can do.
It does start with yourself. It's the same thing that we talk about with relationships.
Yep.
Is it starts with yourself. If you don't respect yourself, how are people going to respect you? If you don't love yourself, how can others, really love you? Because you're not in that space to be loved and respected if you're not even doing it for yourself.
And one thing that's also coming up to share is, and it can be really hard as a parent to see your kid, to give them permission, right, to be in a new identity. So it's like looking at your kid as a sovereign being versus the way you always saw them when they were little, which I know this is so much easier for me to just say than live, but I have to say it, right? It's oh, but they never did that when they were 6. Why don't they love me now? And we go back and in time and beat ourselves up, rather than, you know what, this is who they're choosing to be right now. They're working through some stuff, and it actually doesn't have a whole lot to do with me, but they don't know where to put that energy. So of course I'm the primary target.
Right.
And acknowledging that, giving respect to their process too, can alleviate some of the pressure or the stories that we tell ourselves are true that aren't, right? We know in our heart of hearts, you're not a bad mother. You know that you love your daughter. But if she doesn't have the tools, right, to get her back to center, she's going to go for the closest thing, and that's you. And so recognizing that, it's oh, okay, that's part of her process to get to Z.
So someone told me one time that when people like your children or your spouse lash out on you, that it's because they feel safe enough to be that vulnerable or that open to express that. Now, it's a shitty thing, you know what I mean, to go through that, but I do kind of get where they're coming from by saying, she feels with anybody and ever, she feels most safe to be able to show me how pissed off she is, I guess.
Yeah. And one energy thing I can share, it's like, you don't have to take that on. It may be like those psychic daggers may be coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
I just have my clients visualize, those like long mirrors in like a dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Imagine them facing out. Like there's like just a perimeter around you of mirrors. And anything that comes at you from your kids, it's like, wow, I see it coming. I totally like give you the bandwidth, right, to like release it, but I'm going to just ping pong it right back to you or out of the space. And
Yeah.
it's all about what I was saying before, right? The goal is neutrality, emotional, authentic, emotional neutrality, because from neutral, you can create magic, you can hold space, you can help them fall apart and like feel okay that it's not okay. But
Right.
if you're reacting to every single thing that they say, even if you know deep down it's not true,
Yeah.
if you're shaky, you're going to take it on as a narrative, and it's going to inform how you respond to them the next time. And then all of a sudden, you're looking for their validation instead of being centered in what you know to be true.
Ooh.
That's a big one.
Yeah. I think too,
Diana.
as parents, Diana, you're like golden, but
Yeah.
I think
Thank you.
as parents, it's hard because those are our children. So it's very difficult. It's just very difficult. So using these tactics and these techniques, I think, are amazing. Christine, you are the queen of like energy and manifestation. But I also feel like it's important to note that we have to give ourselves grace, right? Like your daughter is 30, we've done every single thing. I can even speak for a situation I'm going through with my own son. Like we've done everything that we can. And at some point, they may have their opinion, but you did a damn good job and you have to give yourself grace. So taking that moment to just not be upset, but to just recognize like what an incredible job you did. Some people don't even have that opportunity to have 30-year-old children. So I think it's important to note all of the work that you've done. So I say that to say all of this with energy work and just all of these things are so important, but you also take a minute to like recognize yourself and your own work and just give yourself grace.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And grace can be given in that moment, right? Where you're just like, I'm really upset. And I really love her. Like they're both true.
She's being an asshole, and I love her.
And I miss her, right?
I do. I miss her.
She's saying horrible things about me, and I just want to like give her a hug.
I do. I miss her face. I miss the kids. I miss my grandkids more than I could ever tell you. And I think that I feel like it's kind of be used as a weapon because she knows it's going to hurt me. And I forgive that. I understand that. I just want to get past all this. And I'm not saying that I don't want to acknowledge her feelings about it and that she lives within her truth. It's not my truth, but it is her truth, and as much as she has it, and I forgive that. I forget that. I don't want to forget that is what I meant to say, but I also just want to work on it with her. I'm willing to do that time. I'm really to do that effort, and maybe someday she'll come back.
Yeah. Well, let's just say it. She'll come back. Let's just make it certain it is, right? And like, in what way, we don't know.
Right.
But it's not going to come. What is the saying? Ships come on calm seas.
I know I got to calm my ass down.
But first, to get calm, right? To be authentically calm, you got to let yourself feel it. Let yourself
But I
feel
think
it.
this is good for a lot of parents and people out there that are going through similar situations, whether it's
I actually
members or
Yeah. I actually know a lot of people who is like Jada. I know that you kind of have situations with your kids. My friend Tanya has things with her kids. I mean, I know a lot of moms and dads who are really going through it. So I know I'm not the only one. And for a long time, I was worried that it was just going to be embarrassing, that people are going to believe this stuff. And I don't care if they believe it anymore. I really don't, because I know it's not true. And people who know me know that the things that are being said about me is not true. And I'm just going to express it, feel it, go through it, and then let it go. And know that someday on her time, she'll come back.
I love it.
That's beautiful. Yes. And I just want to say to all the parents out there, like, you are brave warriors. It is not for the faint of heart to raise a child, to have a child, and you don't give yourself enough props, right? It's always about what you can give them, but if you forget yourself, then they will run the show. Even in your mind, they're running the show, right? So like, take care of yourself, love on yourself, give yourself the space you need so that you can respond and welcome them when it's time for them to come back and connect with you.
I love that.
I love it.
We only have a couple of minutes left, but what do you think is the best thing that you can suggest for at any point in this kind of situation for people?
Is to recognize that in every moment we have the choice. Is this going to happen to me or for me? Okay.
Great.
How is this happening for me? Maybe it's giving you much needed space, right? To reconnect with a hobby that you forgot about when you were being a parent. There's always a gift. And I also say, if it's not working for you, it's also not working for them.
Yeah.
They may not realize it. So recognize all you can do is take care of yourself, clean up your side of the street, and then they'll come back when they're ready and you'll be there waiting.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love that. I love that.
Diana, you're the bomb. You
She
made
is.
me like close to my next favorite person aside from Christine.
Well,
thank you.
Diana is actually going to come back in July. Do you remember the topic? Because I can't remember right now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about dating, and I'm going to be doing live psychic dating readings for everybody.
If anybody wants to be those people on the show that day,
I'm gonna need
reach
people.
out to us.
Her name is Jada.
Yeah. So that is right. I remember I originally talked to you about that, and then I saw your comment about parental alienation and another thing, and I was like, oh my God. So in July, we're going to be doing this readings with Diana. Anybody who's listening who wants to send us an Instagram message or a email message or a Facebook message, it's 50 Shades of Bullshit. It's 50 Shades of _bullshit on YouTube. And our email is 50 Shades of Bullshit with a SHYT at gmail.com. So reach out to us and you can come and get a reading with Diana. That's so exciting.
I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite things to do, you guys. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love that. So if there's anybody out there who's going through this type of thing with your kids, with your adult kids, with, separation from your ex, anything like this, please reach out to Diana. She can help you. Also, we have the free gift again, really quick before we go away. It's Diana, Diana, Dorell, DOREL.com/soul-mate-option OPTIN. Opt-in. Thank you. /. So we'll put that in the show notes and also how to contact Diana on our show notes. We've only got a few seconds left. Jada, would you like to say goodbye?
Bye. I don't know.
I spilled my water on myself.
Thank you, ladies, so much for having me.
Well, we're going to be here again, same time, same place next week. I don't remember what it is next week, but it's going to be fucking fun.
We'll figure it out. It'll be amazing.
Yep. And until then, let's keep this shit real.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.